What's up, cats? So like a year and a half ago, I got to work with one of the orchestrators for Attack on Titan, as part of the student ensemble he led. Also, he had no idea that he even worked on Attack on Titan. Here's what happened. As I was going into my second year of grad school, I decided to do the Lord's Jazz Ensemble audition. And somewhere along the way in my first year, I realized I actually enjoyed playing my instrument, and that I wanted to play it more than 4 times over the course of an entire school year. For this audition, we had to prepare the sax solo used by like every second big band audition, Groove Merchant. I know this solo pretty well, so I get it up to speed, but don't really work on it a ton. This is about an hour before the audition, when I go to print my music and realize I had been reading the soprano part as opposed to the bari part. I'm not really sure how I made this mistake, seeing as I've played the bari part on this multiple times, worked on it for auditions, and never played the soprano part. If I had played along with the recording a single time, it would have cleared this up instantly. I'm still able to play probably around 3/4 of it, but this section, not happening. If they counted it off at Vanguard tempo and not that Jones tempo, absolutely not happening. So I go to the audition room, having spent all of an hour on the etude. The actual audition was pretty standard. Marcus Strickland put us in random groups, then had us play the sax solo from Groove Merchant. I don't remember what tempo we counted off at, but since I don't remember it, it probably wasn't that fast. After ghosting like every other note in this passage, we sight read a couple charts, one being a ballad that I don't remember the name of, which is pretty easy, and then Justin Morel's chart Jungle Book, which we all collectively folded on. Very helpful for determining placement. Also, the bari player for the top jazz ensemble last year learned every single part on Groove Merchant, and brought all 3 saxophones to the audition as well. Before the audition, he told me he didn't really want to play bari again, which sounded like a great idea to me, as this was probably the only chance I had at making the top band. So he tells Marcus Strickland that he can play other parts, to which Marcus Strickland replies, "No, that's fine, I already know where I'm going to put you." Okay, but I brought a bass clarinet to play on the ballad, and the third bari player didn't, so I should still be a shoo-in for the second band, right? Nope. It makes sense though. Obviously I wasn't going to beat the incumbent, and the bari player for the second band is a performance major, so he gets priority. So I get put in the third jazz band, called XJB. Now you might be asking, what does XJB stand for? No idea. Nobody knows, not even the director. I have a lot of theories on what it could mean, but I highly doubt any of these are correct. Whoever's in charge of the names at Frost School of Music really likes their acronyms. Anyways, the director of the XJB was Shelley Berg, who's been directing, writing, and playing music for longer than I've been alive. Honestly, maybe twice as long as I've been alive. So being in the third band? Honestly, not so bad. I think he missed like 6 or 7 rehearsals due to having gigs or various other commitments. He was also the dean of Frost School of Music, so he's a pretty busy guy. Despite being the third band, this band was still really good, which is one of the nice parts of going to Frost. No matter what band you're in, you're still going to be surrounded by people all trying to improve their craft, so the third band was still really strong. Strong enough that I decided to bring in my new version of Battle Theme from Torna that I wrote over the summer. I think this is probably one of the hardest video game arrangements I've ever written, and for me that's saying something. We ended up not playing this chart, as I wrote another chart and I wanted to play that one more, but we still had it in the folder until the end of the semester, which I bring up because unlike most ensemble classes, where the grade consists almost entirely of just showing up to rehearsals and concerts, we also had to do a presentation on one of the charts we played that semester. So I presented on Battle Theme from Torna, and after rambling about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for like 5 minutes, loosely tying it into what Shelley Berg actually wanted us to talk about, he says something to the effect of, "That's an entire world I know nothing about," and then follows it up by saying I actually worked on some popular anime or something like that though. And after around 5 minutes of quizzing our director, which proved largely ineffective as he didn't know any of the names we were listing, someone put on Gurren no Yumiya, and asked, "Was this it?" "Yeah, that's the one." And then the classroom exploded. For Shelley Berg, the Dean of Frost School of Music, the composer of the theme for the 1986 Olympic Festival, who's played with Ray Brown, John Clayton, Eddie Daniels, Peter Erskine, Arturo Sandoval, and orchestrated for bands such as Kiss in Chicago, working on a song for probably one of the most popular anime of all time was just another Tuesday. More people probably listened to this song in a single day than have listened to my discography ever. The song is even in a couple of my favorite rhythm games. So after the class recovered from learning that our director worked on a song a lot of us, okay, maybe a few of us grew up listening to, Shelley Berg told us he got this gig from Yoshiki, who he frequently collaborates with on projects like these. So naturally, once we had finished rehearsing for the day, I went up to him and was like, let me know if Yoshiki needs an orchestrator again. To which he responded with, no, that's my job. Yeah, that's my bad. I'm not very good with words. What I meant to say was, let me know if you ever need a sub. I wouldn't really consider this a fumble, as he probably has like 20 subs he would call before me, but still 0% chance of happening if I don't ask. So now every time I think about this song, or play it in my mind, I will forever be haunted by the knowledge that this song was worked on by the dean of where I got my master's degree. Except it wasn't. Having been actual lead in multiple of my other videos, I wanted to make sure that this information was correct before making this video. This is when I learned that Shelley Burke is not actually credited for Guren no Yumiya, which is the Season 1 opening, and the one everyone knows, but is instead credited for the Season 3 Part 1 opening, Red Swan. This raises a lot of questions, like how did he recognize Guren no Yumiya? The Season 3 opening definitely wasn't temp tracked, and while I might have listened to the other openings to get an idea of the general vibe, I feel like he would have said something to the effect of, yeah, that's the show, I didn't work on that specific song though. Or maybe he did say that and it got lost in us all collectively freaking out over the fact our director worked on one of the most well-known anime of all time. Or maybe he also worked on the Season 1 OP and wasn't credited, but this is pretty unlikely. Well, why don't you send him an email and ask?